Hello everyone, welcome to PS Galaxy. Today we shall start a new chapter from history, that is chapter number 5, Crafts and Industries of India. So let's get started. The industrialization of Britain had a close connection with the conquest and colonization of India. We have already discussed in chapter 2 how the English East India Company's interest in trade lead to occupation of territory and how the pattern of trade changed over the decades. With the growth of industrial production, British industrialists began to see India as a vast market for their industrial products, and over time, manufacturers' goods from Britain began floating India. And how did this affect Indian crafts and industries? This is the question we will explore in this chapter. In the 17th and 18th century, three kinds of industry exist in India. First is the rural cottage industry, such as weaving, pottery, carpentry, etc., which provided the day-to-day requirement of the agriculturist in the village. Second is the urban domestic industry, producing various products such as fine textile for the use of town folks and carried on by family members, possibly in a room of the house where the family lived. Third is the small urban factory or royal karkhanas, which produce luxury items of fine textile such as silk, chintz, and muslin, jewelry, ivory, etc., for the royal household and the world market. The urban industry of India at the beginning of the 19th century was mainly in the nature of handcrafts, producing fine textile or other luxury product for the aristocracy. Textiles such as cotton, silk, and woolen products were sought after all over the world. The muslin of Dhaka, carpets of Lahore, shawl of Kashmir, and the embroidery work of Banaras were very famous. The urban industry occupied a very favorable and important position in India's economic activity. In spite of this position, Indian industry confronted with the problems of rapid decline both in the artistic excellence and economic importance of handicraft. By the middle of the 19th century, it declined, and this process of decline came to be known as deindustrialization. While India enjoyed 17.6% of the world's industrial production in the year 1830, Britain's share was 9.5%, but by 1900, India's share had declined to 1.7%, while Britain's share had grown to 18.6%. Many reasons were responsible for this decline. Let's discuss them one by one. First is Industrial Revolution in England. Owing to industrialization, British textile productivity improved qualitatively as well as quantitatively. Britain first took over India's export market and eventually took over much of its domestic market as well. Second is weakening of guilds. Guilds means a group of people, mainly tradespeople, made up of merchants, craft people, or artisans for mutual aid. The East India Company indirectly weakened the power of the guild and other bodies which regulated trade and controlled the quality of material used. Many evils like adulteration of materials, poor workmanship, etc., begin to creep in as soon as the supervising bodies were removed, which lead to a decline in the artistic and commercial value of the wares. Third is the tariff policy. The tariff policy pursued by the British government allowed for one-way free trade, which was responsible for the decay of handicraft. The tariff and octroi policies were modified by the company in 1813 to enhance the consumption of finished goods and suit the British commercial interest. England pursued the policy of protection through imposition of import duties to put her manufacturing industries on a sound footing at home. Fourth is the outbreak of American Civil War. Another factor for collapse was the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861. Britain had to look towards India for the supply of raw cotton as America's supply was disturbed due to war. This led to a sharp rise in the price of cotton, which made it extremely difficult for Indian weavers to buy it. Fifth is the loss of patronage. With the rise of British paramountcy in India, the process of decline in the power and status of Indian rulers started. This in turn led to the decline in demands for domestic luxury, goods like royal attires, armory, and objects of art by the Indian royalty. Now, let's see how deindustrialization impact the Indian textile industry. First, the displaced weavers, spinners, and dryers began to leave the urban centers and started settling in the village. Second, on account of population pressure, the villagers were reduced to agricultural laborers. Now, let's have a brief discussion on textile industry in India. Weaving is a method of fabric production in which two distinct sets of yarn or thread are interlaced at right angles to form a fabric or cloth. Dhaka bears the tradition of weaving fine cotton fabric, but the more popular silk may have been acquired from migratory weavers from Gujarat in the mid 18th century. The cotton fabrics are woven loosely with fine cotton yarn and brocaded in the Jamdani technique with floral sprays or scrolls in metal thread or cotton yarns and bear similarity to the cotton jamdanis of Bengal. Weavers turn to silk and organzas because they fetches a better price for labor. It was during the Mughal rule and patronage that muslin weaving in Bengal reached heights and the legendary Abe Rawan or flowing water was woven. The locally cotton was so fine that it lent itself perfectly to the weaving of the softest of muslins. Sir George Watt, during the British reign, is said to have been amazed at its sheer delicacy when he passed the delicate fabric through a ring. This craft has survived with very little change, except that the looms used today are fly shuttle looms as opposed to the pit looms of the olden days. Let us now discuss the growth process of industrialization in India. Britain was never interested to industrialize India. They only wanted India to remain only as a colony to feed their mother country, England. Now, what is colony? Let me tell you. A country which is under political and economic domination of another country is called a colony. Dadabhai Naoroji, in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, talks about the wealth that was drained from India to Britain. One of the main factors of this drain was the profit earned by the British-owned industries in India. Despite the reluctance of the British, the wave of industrialization could not be curbed on account of two factors. The first factor was the First World War. Many industries were set up in India under the directives of the British to fulfill their war needs of iron and steel during the First World War. Alternatively, as the British industries were geared to fulfilling the war needs, industries for essential supplies to meet the demand were being set up in India. Second factor was the Swadeshi and boycott movement. Swadeshi movement stressed the need to develop indigenous industries to boycott British goods. This movement of 1905 sowed the seed of the first industries by Indian entrepreneurs. Yet, industrialization in India was slow and erratic on account of two reasons. One was the lack of capital and lack of infrastructure to establish heavy machinery factories. The other was the stringent policies of the British, which favored the development of only those industries which could profit the British. A separate Department of Commerce and Industry was set up by Lord Curzon in 1905 for industrialization of India. Now, let's discuss some of the industries started in India in the early 20th century. Textile industry. Bombay became the first industrial hub with a railway line being opened in 1853 from Bombay to Thane. Also, it was a rich cotton growing area on account of its black soil. Cotton mill. The first cotton mill was set up in 1853 by Kawasji Nanabhai. The next one came up in 1861 in Ahmedabad. Many weavers and spinners who lost their livelihood due to the deindustrialization started migrating to these mill areas. Iron and steel. At the dawn of the 20th century, an iron and steel company was set up by Jamsetji Tata at Jamshedpur. Coal mining. Coal mining became a major industry with establishment of railways and other industries in the mid-19th century. Bengal, Bihar and Odisha became the hub of coal producing areas. Plantation industries. Plantation came into being around the 19th century with the forced cultivation of cash crops like tea, coffee, jute and rubber. Plantations were like factories where a large number of workers worked under supervision. These were equipped with machinery for processing the crop. The industrialists were mainly Europeans and the workers were Indians. Jute mills came up around Kolkata mainly because of the availability of raw material. So, with this, we come to the end of this chapter and also to the end of today's video. See you soon with another new chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.